Hello again, everyone. It's me, Johnny. I want to thank you for checking out my channel. And today, I just want to ask you one simple question. How much is your mind worth? And this comes from a lecture I did a couple months ago, and I asked a simple question to the audience. And the question was, if you were to sell your mind on eBay, on Amazon.com, or on Walmart, if you were trying to sell your mind, how much would you sell it for? What would be the going price for your mind if you were to sell it at Walmart or Amazon.com or on eBay? What would you ask them for it? And I asked this question to the audience, and there were a couple hundred people in the audience, and at first people were just quiet. They didn't say nothing, and some people mumbled back and forth, and then somebody screamed out from the back, "You can't put a price on my mind. I can't sell you my mind. You just can't put a price on it." And then everyone else started to chime in the audience. Everyone else started to chime in on that you can't put a price on our mind. There's no way you can sell it. My second question I asked them is that if you instinctively know that your mind is invaluable and you cannot put a price on it, if you know that already, and no amount of money is going to make you happy selling your mind, then why do you settle for a job that only pays you $25,000 a year? Why do you settle for a job that only pays you $40,000? Why do you settle for a job that only pays you $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year? Why do you settle to go to a place where you're unfulfilled? Why do you settle going to a place where you're tolerated, not appreciated? Why do you settle? Why do you settle for dead relationships that are unfulfilling? Why do you hang out with a crowd when all they do is beat you down? Why do we settle? See, healing from cancer, that's what I had to learn. Is how much is my mind worth? What's the going rate for me? See, what am I exchanging my time for? Time is my most precious commodity. What are you selling your time for? See, it's one thing to heal from cancer from nutrition. That's one aspect of it. But it's those toxic emotions. It's that feeling of unfulfillment that cancer patients suffer through. They're living, they're alive, but are you really living your life? Or you're just going through the motions? Do you feel like I felt, like somebody had a hand in the middle of my back and they were just pushing me and I couldn't take a break? Because I got caught up in this wheel, constantly going over and over again, constantly going over and over again, and I couldn't take a break. If I went to vacation, go on vacation, and it wasn't a vacation. It's like I didn't know how to slow down. I was worried, stressed out, because I wasn't being me. I wasn't living the true me. Your mind is so powerful up here. These are things that I've learned healing from cancer with nutrition and naturally. It's not an easy walk. It's real serious questions that you ask yourself. And for me, coming from that perspective where I had to be brutally honest with myself. It's not no walk in the park. There's not one day. No, you're going to go through it. You're going to go through it. You're going to have to check yourself. And the person that you have to be the most honest with is yourself. The one you look at the mirror every day and ask yourself, are you really happy with your life? Why do we settle? It was a question I always asked. Why do we settle to go to a place where we're just unfulfilled and we sit there for 8 hours? 8 hours becomes 40. Then you're 2 weeks there, then you're a month there. Before you know it, you're 5 years into it, still feeling unfulfilled. Just living for a paycheck, going from week to week. Not really being happy. Not really going anywhere. Not even seeing yourself going anywhere because the people around you aren't going anywhere. See, we live this thing called life. And most people, including myself, you're alive, but are you living? Are you really living your life the way you want to? Are you really tapping into all the giftings? See, we look at the superheroes like Marvel Comics and, like Batman and Spider-Man and all these other ones, and we look at them for all their superpowers. We never tapped into ourselves to look at our own superpowers of what we can do. Because a good book says is you're fearfully and wonderfully made. That means there's one of a kind. There's no one else in the history of the world that's just like you. with all the giftings and everything that you have within inside you that's locked up. You know, there's an old adage that says, did you hear motivational speaking that says, most people die at 25, but we don't bury them till 80. That was me. See, when I tell you about these things, this is how reversing cancer naturally. These are things that I had to deal with. These are questions that I had to ask myself. And I had to confront me to find out, why am I always stressed out? Why am I pissed off? All these hidden emotions on the inside of me that were just bottled up, suppressing my immune system because I was always ticked off. Why? Because I wasn't happy. I wasn't living my true potential. I wasn't running my race. I got caught up in this thing called life, man. And it just spiraled out of control. See, toxic, emotions suppress the immune system. Okay? When you're not living your full potential, you're suppressing the immune system. When you're settling in life, you're suppressing your own immune system. The inner me is killing me. That inner song that you're playing over and over and over and over and over in your heart, in your mind, because you have a superhighway. It's your mind, your heart, and your gut. That gut feeling or that heart feeling. It's a superhighway. It's all going back and forth. And when you start thinking and meditating and focusing on the negatives, you're suppressing, you're doing so much damage to yourself. First thing is learning how to love yourself. Wherever you're at, learning to love you is the most important thing you can do. It's true healing when you learn to love yourself. It's not being selfish. It's to learn to love yourself and to take care of you, because when you love yourself, you start monitoring what food you eat. When you love yourself, you start watching out who you hang around with. When you love yourself, you watch yourself how much time you spend, wasting time, because time is your most precious commodity. You can't get time back. Coming from where I came from possible stage 4 cancer, I know now tomorrow's not promised to me. And every day I want to live it to the fullest. Every day. There's 7 billion people on the planet. You think I'm worried about one friend, so-called friend? I can count the number of friends I have on one hand that have been from the beginning of my relationship, my cancer diagnosis, till now. And the people have changed. From my choices that I make. Who I want to spend time with. See, we go through this thing, and when you're going through it, it's just not nutrition that you want to, get down right, get it down packed. Somewhere along the line to heal, you have to deal with self, the man in the mirror. You're going to have to go down deep inside there and start pulling out these toxic emotions. That's what true healing is. First identify it and deal with it, and then let it go. Until then, because I see other cancer patients, and I could just listen to them speak where they're at, and they're so upset, and they're wondering why things don't work for them. You got to let it go. It ain't even worth it. Going through this thing called life, because we live in this dimension of time, but yet we're living eternity at the same time. Eternity doesn't start when you die. You're living it now. Your life is like this. And it's a precious gift. You don't have to develop a brand. You're your own brand. Your body's its own ecosystem. Your body's its own pharmacy. Your body's its own electrical plant. Your body is so powerful of what it can do, but it starts up here in the mind. What's the song that you're playing over and over to yourself that's just vibrating through all your cells? Because all your cells are eavesdropping on what the inner conversation. Your inner me is killing me. That's what I used to say to myself, It's a saying, just your inner me. What's your inner me saying? All those toxic emotions just buried up inside. And the true potential of who you are, the essence of who you are, the person of who you are. Life is a gift. Don't pass away without opening it up. Explore the giftings inside you. If you're going to a place that you hate and you're spending most of the time, make a plan to get out of it. If you have toxic relationships, 7 billion people on the planet, and you can't find new friends, come on now. The odds are in your favor. That's something I would bet on, that you can find new friends. And going through cancer, what it's taught me is to live the now. Live the now. Live the now. Plan for what I see, where I see myself, and what I want to do. And for me, I love to teach. I love to lecture. I mean, I get off on it. But more, it's helping someone else out that's going through the journey, that's afraid and scared, that are going through this, or people that don't see themselves as being successful. That's because they're comparing themselves to everyone else. That's not your competition. True competition is here. True competition is here. And it's locked up here. That stuff that just drives you, the inner champion that's inside you. When I first got diagnosed, and still today, if you were to walk in my bedroom, you would see a big Olympic flag on my wall. That's the first thing. You see one of these. I have one. This is my Olympic flag. What's up in mine? Is this right? Yeah, this is right. This is what's up on my wall in my bedroom. Every morning, that's what I wake up to. And it reminds me to train spirit, soul, and body. Cover all my bases in order to heal. And it's an early morning, 4:30 in the morning. You don't want to get out of bed and go to the gym. That's the last place I wanted to do. Body was hurting. Didn't know if it was working. Didn't even know. Had no clue what I was doing. Nothing. Nothing at all. And couldn't afford naturopath medicine. Couldn't afford anything. And little by little, started making progress. And when I started realizing that the song in my mind affected what's going on in my heart, affected what was going on in my gut. It's like a symphony. It's a symphony. You know, some old timers, you talk, they follow your heart, they say follow your gut, because they're all connected. It's a superhighway. Your body is amazing. I mean, the body is, I'm studying physiology now, biology. The body is amazing. Give the body what it wants, it's going to heal. Deal with your toxic emotions, it's going to heal. Some people, and you deal with cancer patients, a lot of unforgiveness, a lot of bitterness. And sometimes it's not working for them. And then they wonder why. And you can talk to them and just hear it. You can stand next to them and feel it. A lot of bitterness, a lot of anger. You can do all that stuff and still not work for you. You know, it's just not one thing that's going to make you healthy when you're dealing with cancer. It's just not one thing. There's dozens of things that you can do to heal from cancer. But one of the things you have to deal with is the man in the mirror. True healing, you first must identify it. To heal, identify what's going on to heal from it. You can't sweep it under the rug when you're dealing with cancer. It's all got to come out. It's all got to come out. And how do you see yourself? Doesn't matter how anybody else sees you. Most important is how you're seeing yourself. You know, if you're still holding on to issues of somebody beat me up on the playground 30 years ago, then go get help. It's not worth holding on to something. Bitterness is not worth holding on to anger, because, you know, there's a difference between a reaction and a response. A reaction is when it's a knee-jerk reaction and you just go off on somebody. I had a lot of that. Like, I would just go off on you in a minute. You know, now, instead of doing a reaction, now it's a response. A response, you just take your time and you calculate what you're going to do, how you're going to respond to the situation. You know, and I had a choice to do it with my car. Taking a car to the car dealer, and it's like, oh man, for maintenance. And I had a choice to do a response, okay, a reaction and go off on the guy, or a response. And I chose to do a response. It was like a big winner for me, not to go off, and just relax and just focus on the response. And that's a calculated decision that you're going to make on how you're going to respond to the situation. Much healthier approach than a reaction and getting ticked off and letting my immune system be suppressed and getting upset about everything. Doesn't have to be. Those are things that I learned through going through cancer. Thanks for checking out my video. God bless you guys, and take care.